This episode of FilmRiot is brought to you by Domain.com.
Today on FilmRiot, we look back at some helicopter goodness. Welcome to FilmRiot, the show that takes mystery out of the effects, techniques, going to some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley, and as we discussed in a previous episode, we are doing rewinds because we're working on a bigger project right now that's coming out in March, which I think you guys are really going to love. Some pretty epic stuff. You can actually see some pictures and stuff from what we were doing on our Twitters and Instagram. All that is in the notes below. But as for today, this is one of my favorite techniques that we have ever done on the show. It's really simple, but a very convincing and fun effect to do. So without further ado... What?
You said a dude, it's a do.
You're not making any sense.
Never mind.
You sound like an idiot.
So as you already guessed, both helicopter shots in the opening sketch were miniatures. The first one done with keying and compositing, the second one almost done entirely in camera. So let's tackle the first one, and then we'll tackle the almost all in camera shot after that. Agreed? Agreed.
Got it.
First, I need to pick my miniature, and I ended up deciding on this 1/60th scale Black Hawk replica, which went for about 20 bucks. Then I needed to get my shots. First is the shot of Eris walking out and looking up where the helicopter will be. Next, I secure my miniature to a solid stick of some kind so I can suspend it in front of my blue screen. The key to this is putting the model at the same perspective and angle that would be in the actual shot if it was actually a big helicopter in the actual shot. This way, you are getting the right lighting for the environment, which will help sell the final effect a lot. And this is also the main reason some pre-keyed assets or pictures of helicopters would not work even remotely as well, since that asset would not have the same lighting, so it wouldn't fit perfectly. You'll also notice that I took off the blade on top of the helicopter. I will be adding this later. The blades on the back stayed because those would not come off and I didn't really feel like breaking it, so I'll have to take care of that in post. Now, after I have this shot done, there is one thing left to get. I take the blades and I put them on my green screen, take a quick shot, and I'm ready for post. In After Effects, I bring in all my footage, Eris on the bottom, then the helicopter above that, key this shot, then add the blades above that, and I will key that out as well. Now, we will pre-comp both of these. In that pre-comp, I will mask out the back blades and the stick, then fix the center point on the blade and keyframe the rotation to spin like crazy. Now, I'll duplicate the blade and move one of those layers to match up in the back where the back blades used to be. Next, turn on 3D for the other blade layer and line it up where the top blades should be. Now turn on motion blur for both of those layers and you have this. Now we go back to our main comp and can add whatever movement to the helicopter that we want. After this, I add some flares to help it all fit together and a little smoke from Action Essentials. Now I will pre-comp one more time and add a camera movement to the shot as an entirety using Wiggler. The final step is, of course, my color grade, and we have... It's a great technique that I wish I had a little more time with, though I do like how it came out, a little extra TLC, and I think this technique would be really great, and it is a lot of fun. But now, we're gonna thank the peeps that make this show happen, and then we're gonna do the second shot, which again, was almost entirely in camera.
What the F is TLC?
Tender Love and Care. Also a really terrible R&B band from the 90s.
If you're a budding filmmaker, entrepreneur, innovator, Domain.com is the place to go when that next idea hits you. I know you've probably heard the list of available domain extensions is growing, but now you have the opportunity to name your site and build your brands in ways that were never before
Ryan,
possible.
We should switch things up.
What?
We should switch things up.
No, we shouldn't because it's an ad.
We read a lot.
Yeah.
So like every now and again, we'll just
That's how we pay the bills.
Boom, like,
so we got to do it.
Throw in a curveball.
Domain.com. We got to be
Make it like switch it
They're
up.
our friends. We like them.
It's kind of like when you make eggs.
What are you
Like,
What are you
eat
talking
eggs
about?
Too much. It tastes like a little bland.
What are you
So,
talking
add
about?
Some spices, you know, like
You're not even looking
just
at me.
switch
You're just
things up.
saying things.
Dude, have you ever put like adobo in your eggs? It is the jam.
You are an agent of chaos.
I'm just saying we should switch things up every now and again. That's all.
Choose from a growing list of 400 plus domain name extensions like .com, .org, or .design, or .club for that matter. And to show you some love, they're giving you 25% off their already affordable prices. Get domain names, web hosting, and email. Use the coupon code FilmRiot. You get 25% off of that order. And when you think domain names, think domain.com.
Oh, dude, and you ever put milk in your eggs? They get so fluffy.
Logo.
Okay, so how did we pull this one off? Well, like this. I used forced perspective to pull the shot off and make the helicopter look like it was behind Josh, which again I did by suspending the helicopter on a stick and positioning it where I needed to with the camera close to the helicopter and Josh extremely far from the camera. And then I moved the camera around to make sure I was getting the right perspective for the helicopter and the background. And of course I had to set my f-stop as high as possible. I was shooting on f22 to get as deep focus as possible, so both Josh being far away from the camera and the helicopter being so close were both relatively in focus. But now we need to grab a clean plate like so, then we can bring it all into After Effects for the finishing touches. Inside After Effects, I will grab my shot, then my clean plate, grab the masking tool, drop the opacity, and mask around the pole. Then I will feather and jack the opacity back up. Next, I will duplicate my helicopter layer, mask it out, and then add brightness and contrast to turn the layer completely black. Then I will flip it and position it to be the shadow of the helicopter on the ground. Now change the blending mode of that layer to soft light and drop the opacity to make your shot look like it has a shadow in it from the helicopter.
Ba es your boo-boo. Y te levantes el baño.
But the model still looks like it's floating and doesn't fully belong in the scene, so to fix this, I will add a black solid, then again drop the opacity so I can see behind it, and I will mask around the areas just below the wheels. Then I will feather this and set the opacity to the level that I want, and now we have shadows for the wheels that really help hold the entire shot together. And again, for our final step, I will add my color grade, and we have... I was much happier with this shot than the last, even. I love getting things as much in camera as possible. It just always works out better and is a lot more fun. But there you go, a really cool technique that you can use for your films. Grab yourself some convincing models and add great props into your film. You can do this same thing with jets, cars, boats, whatever. It is a super old school technique that still works really great. So give it a shot and have a blasty.
Logo.
That's it for today, you sexy devils. If you want to follow me on the Twitters, you can do so right here. But I'll see you guys next time when I get caught. But I'm not too upset about it because it was my plan all along.